What's up, guys? eDrone here. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the new iflight Nazgul 5 6S. Stay tuned. If there was a quadcopter like this available when I got into the hobby, I probably wouldn't have started to want to build my own, at least so soon anyway. It's got basically semi-premium components at a budget price. That's why I call this thing the Eachine Wizard HV Murderer. Now when you take a look at the specs compared to the Eachine Wizard, you'll see that these quadcopters are very similar. And here's the specs on the iflight Nazgul 5 and the Eachine Wizard X220hv. You'll see that both quadcopters are 6S, and I'm comparing the plug-and-play versions. You can see the price of the Eachine Wizard's $189.99, whereas the Nazgul is a little bit cheaper, coming in at $184. They're using different motors. So SucceX-E's are 2207 with 1700 kV, and the Eachine Wizard is using the 2306 1650 kV. You see that they're both using F4 flight controllers. They're both able to use D-Shot 600 2-6S, and they're both using the MPU 6000 gyros. The biggest difference between these two quadcopters is the cameras they use and the VTXs. Also, the Eachine Wizard has two extra components, the SpeedyB Bluetooth module and a lost model buzzer, which the iflight Nazgul does not. However, the Eachine Wizard X220hv is also known for having its death rolls. Another great thing about this quadcopter is it's going to get a lot of new people that have never gotten a drone into the hobby. And the fact that you can buy a radio for another $100, you can get into the FPV hobby for under $300. That is amazing, to be in the hobby under $300 and to be having a semi-premium build with excellent parts and reliability. Taking a look at the packaging, you'll see we have a nice premium box with a nice plastic wrap. This is the FrSky RXSR version. It definitely looks like a nice premium product the way they have this wrapped in here. First thing we're greeted with is two sets of these iflight Nazgul props here. These are 5140s. And from what I've heard, they're supposed to be really good, efficient props. So can't wait to try them out. Okay, you see we have some nice lightweight foam inside here. We got some iflight stickers, always a plus. We have a nice bag of some extra screws, which is a good thing. Little rubber battery mat. We have a iflight pagoda style antenna with a 3D printed connector for screwing on and off, which is nice. And we have two little antenna straws, iflight battery strap, leather with metal buckle. Very nice. Triple stitched as well. We also get a OSD camera menu board for the Caddx. Here it is in all its glory, the iflight Nazgul. This is a 6S quadcopter. It's rocking the SucceX-E motors, 2207 1800 kV. They feel very smooth, and as you can see, they have a really nice look. You can also see we have some nice 3D printed little arm guards here, which is very nice. They're including all this TPU on these new quadcopters. This is the bind and fly version. Also has a nice front TPU bumper here, as well as on the side of the camera, it actually has some TPU inside here to help with vibration isolation so you don't get jello in your FPV feed. This is rocking the Caddx Ratel little micro camera here. Very nice, very popular camera. Everything is plugged into the flight controller via plug header, so there's no soldering connection. So if you need to replace a component, it's going to be really easy to just unplug it and plug it back in. Here's the, on the very top, the VTX. It is a 25 to 600 milliwatt VTX, 48 channel. And here we have the flight controller is an F4 processor and is using the MPU 6000 gyro, and it is soft mounted to get you a nice flight experience. I like these nice blue standoffs they use here, as well as on the top they have these nice clear nuts to lock down on the controllers here. ESC is 45 amp BL Heli S with it is a 4-in-1, and it's 2-6S, and it can go up to D-Shot 600. We also have a nice 3D printed mount back here for the receiver And this is using the FrSky RXSR. The bind and fly version is already installed back here. And it is nice that we have some nice antenna management in the back. Also, we have a rear bumper guard TPU as well. Feels like a good weight, but definitely not too heavy. Also, you'll notice here in the back, there's a 470 microfarad low ESR capacitor. That's going to help with any unwanted noise in your video. I love the 3D printed parts they use in this quadcopter, and it's very clean looking. You see they use these nice little nylon ribbon tape, help to manage the wires on the arms here. Frame is a very good construction. You can see how strong it is. We have multiple layers of carbon here. This is one of the cleanest looking bind and fly quadcopters I have seen yet. I was very excited to get my hands on this. This has probably been one of the most popular FPV bind and fly plug and play quadcopters of the year. So make sure when you get this, you tighten up these screws and double check all your screws and make sure they're nice and tight. They had to pump a lot of these out, so you may find some that have some loose screws. The carbon's actually chamfered as well. To get this ready to fly, we need to do a couple things. First thing we need to do is go ahead and bind the receiver to our transmitter. If you go to your current model, and if you need to learn how to set up a new model, watch this video up here in the right hand corner. Once you have your model all set up, you need to go ahead and hit the menu button once, page over once, scroll down till you see where it says BND for bind. Go ahead and push on the right button, and we're going to choose channel 9 through 16 with telemetry on. Go ahead and push the button in. You'll start getting a chirping of the radio. Now while that's chirping, your tweezers and push down on the bind button here. Hold that down while you plug in battery power. Make sure before you power on the drone, you screw on your VTX antenna. Okay, go ahead and take your little 3D printed VTX mount here on your antenna so it's flush. This will give you a little bit more of a grip when you go to tighten this down. And put on your VTX antenna. Screw it all the way down tight. Now, keep in mind, you want it to be nice and tight, but if this starts spinning, you don't want that to spin. Take a little pair of pliers, hold down on the end and the connector, and give it a good tug till it's nice and tight. Once the battery's plugged in, release the tweezers. Then you can go ahead and turn bind off on the radio and then unplug the quadcopter. We have the receiver bound to the transmitter. Now all we need to do is take these little antenna straws, slide that on, and push this down through the TPU like so. Go ahead and install the rubber grip battery mat on the top plate. Now let's go ahead and get it all set up in Betaflight. Go ahead and plug in your USB. Make sure your props are off while you have it plugged into the computer for safety. Go ahead and make sure your quadcopter is moving the way it's supposed to. Make sure the front is the front and the rear is the rear. We have the Zero RX set up on UART2. We have the VTX set up here with the IRC tramp. Okay, take a look at the configuration. We have the motor stop turned off, which is what we want. We want the motors to spin when we arm. We're on D-Shot 600. We are at 5.5 for the motor throttle value. Keep in mind the motor direction is reversed, so it's set up with reverse props. So you want to install the props in this orientation. You want to go ahead and change the maximum arm angle to 180 degrees so that if it gets stuck upside down in a tree, we will be able to retrieve it. We are looking at 8K, 8K. I'm going to turn off the barometer. S-Bus, serial base receiver, telemetry turned on. I'm going to go ahead and permanently enable air mode for myself. I like to have air mode on, which this particular quadcopter does not have a buzzer, so I'm going to turn off a lot of these. I definitely would suggest putting a lost model buzzer on this quadcopter. There's plenty of room in the frame to do so. Go ahead and hit save and reboot. I'm going to leave everything on here stock rates, stock PIDs, everything stock. We'll see how it flies out of the box. But here you can see how it's all been set up from the factory. Take a look at the filter settings here. And like I said, we're going to leave everything on. I want to see how it feels out of the box stock. Go ahead and go to the receiver tabs. We can go ahead and get our receiver set up here. We're going to need to plug in our battery power to check our receiver. Go ahead and check the controls. Okay, and mine channel mapping is not correct. So go over here to the channel mapping, try default, and hit save. Throttle's throttle, pitch is pitch, roll is roll, yaw is yaw. Make sure you hit save after you change it. Go over here to the modes tab and set up our switches. Just go to auto. We'll detect the switch that you change. Move the slider over to where the indicator is once you have the switch in the position you want. That one's good. This has angle mode on all the time, so I don't want that. Slide this slider over here. I'm going to go ahead and add horizon mode. And then acro is all the way over here with no yellow bar over top of the ticks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add a beeper switch so that the motors will beep when I activate a switch. Move this slider over here. Okay, that's set up there. Go ahead and add flip over after crash, which is turtle mode. So turtle mode set up. Click save. And then when you hit the switch, the box should light up of what mode it's in. So you can see it's in horizon now. It's in acro, horizon, and angle mode. Do the beeper. You can hear the motors beeping. So that's working correctly. Then we have our turtle mode. See, it's in turtle mode. Okay, let's go over here to the OSD tab. See, they've already set up our OSD. We have our band channel for the VTX. We have our milliamps used on the battery. We have our individual cell voltage plus our total cell voltage. And we have our little low voltage warning here on the screen. It's normally all I fly with anyway. We're going to do a quick line of sight flight with the iflight Nazgul 5. Then we'll go ahead and do a FPV flight, and I got a GoPro attached on there with some zip ties. And we'll go ahead and fly it around, get some high definition footage and see how it turns out. All right, pretty stable. This is on SucceX. Do a little punch. Oh yeah, just screaming. Feels pretty good, definitely out of the box here. This is stock rate, stock tune. Oh yeah, nice and floaty. Plenty of control. Feels very locked in as well. Feels real good actually. Full speed punch right there. SucceX, it just goes right to the moon. See how that just flies there. Nice looking quadcopter too. Full throttle punch. Well, that SucceX does feel good. So far so good on the line of sight flight. All right, let's go ahead and put the goggles on. We'll do the FPV flight. Okay, here's the FPV flight. And you'll notice that the camera has really decent quality image, very good colors, and a decent field of view. I am using 4:3 aspect ratio on my Fat Sharks. I was getting some video noise, as you see those black lines in the screen there when I was giving some real heavy punch-out throttles. Definitely wasn't unmanageable, could definitely still see where I was going, but just want to go ahead and note that you might get a little bit of video noise in the actual video feed. But yeah, all in all, I think the FPV looks great, definitely for coming out of the box. I love the colors, they don't look oversaturated. The dynamic range is good as well, able to see some details and shadows, and has a very good quality image and a good quality picture. And definitely had a good time flying this Nazgul. The camera does make a big difference on how your flying experience is going to be when you're flying FPV. I didn't have really hardly any problems with signal even going behind the trees. I didn't have, hardly any static at all. And of course, I am using the rapid fire module, which probably helps a lot with that. But the Pagoda antenna that was on the iflight Nazgul was performing very well. We're going to go ahead and do the GoPro flight here and let you see some HD footage. All right, so what we're using for the setup today, got my Fat Shark Dominator HD3s with the rapid fire module using 2 Luminaire Axi antennas, GoPro Hero Session, zip tied on the top, a 1300 milliamp SucceX-E tattoo pack. Of course, my Taranis QX7. I have one little crash back there in the trees that chopped the antenna straw a little bit. No big deal. But all the props are actually fine. None of them bent or really got tore up at all. So props are definitely durable. All right, so let me tell you about the things I like about the iflight Nazgul, or should I say love, and the things that I don't like about it. So first thing, I love the carbon frame. I love the motors. They feel really good in the air. I really like the props. They do perform very well and they're very durable. I do like the VTX perform just fine. I do love all the extra 3D printed parts they put on here for extra increased durability. And I love the fact that they included all the antennas that you need, plus the antenna straws right out of the box, so very good. I do like the performance of the 6S. It feels really good in the air. Stock PID tune was just fine. Stock rates actually felt good as well. I will be putting my rates on this quadcopter and using this quite frequently, actually. This is going to be my main 6S rig from here on out. But definitely the stock rates, there's nothing wrong with them. They feel really good for freestyle. I even think you might even be able to take this quadcopter and do some races with it. The only thing I didn't like about the quadcopter too much was I was getting a little bit of video noise when I was hitting some full throttle punches. Nothing that was unmanageable or nothing that I couldn't see through, but I was getting some video noise. So I think if you put a higher capacity, low ESR capacitor versus the one they give you, that would probably help clean up some of that video noise. Other than that, guys, this is a premium quadcopter at a non-premium price. Link will be down in the video description, as well as a coupon code if you'd like to pick this quadcopter up while you can. These things sell like hotcakes. It took a long time for it to actually get to me once I requested it, because they've just been sold out. They do have a 4S version as well, so check that out. But honestly, I would definitely recommend getting the 6S version. 6S is kind of the future of where this hobby is going. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. More iflight Nazgul 5 videos to come on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. E-Drone out.